In 1900, a Greek sponge diver went underwater near a tiny island during a storm just to kill time. He came back up shaking, pale. He told his crew he'd seen rotting human bodies on the ocean floor. They thought the pressure had gotten to him, but they went back down anyway. And what they found wasn't bodies. It was a shipwreck. And inside that wreck, buried under 2,000 years of sediment, was a device that should not have existed. The device was so advanced that scientists couldn't explain it for 70 years, because what they pulled from the bottom of that ocean was a computer built in 100 BC by the ancient Greeks. This is that story. The Greek government sent a navy ship. Divers spent 9 months pulling things up. Bronze statues, gold jewelry, ancient coins, pottery. Among everything recovered was one object nobody cared about. A small, shapeless lump of corroded bronze. It looked like a rock. It was catalogued and shelved at the National Archaeological Museum in Athens. For 2 years, nobody touched it. Then, in 1902, an archaeologist named Valerios Stais noticed something through a crack in the crust. A gear. A tiny, perfectly formed bronze gear. He told the scientific community it was some kind of ancient computing device. They laughed at him, said it was too complex to be ancient, probably medieval. It went back on the shelf, but Stais was right, and it would take the rest of the 20th century to prove it. The Antikythera Mechanism is a handheld mechanical analog computer made of bronze, roughly the size of a thick hardcover book. Inside, at least 30 interlocking bronze gears, each one doing a different calculation simultaneously. On the front, a dial showing the position of the sun and moon in the zodiac. On the back, 2 spiral dials, one tracking an 18-year eclipse cycle, one tracking a 76-year astronomical calendar. There was also a display for the ancient Greek Olympic Games cycle. And then, most insane of all, it tracked the positions of all 5 planets visible to the naked eye. Mercury, Venus, Mars, Jupiter, Saturn. You turn a hand crank. The machine tells you where every planet is, what phase the moon is in, and whether an eclipse is coming, all at the same time. That is literally what a computer does. This one just runs on gears instead of electricity. Here is where it gets genuinely mind-bending. The moon doesn't travel in a perfect circle. It travels in an ellipse, which means it speeds up and slows down as it moves. Standard gears rotate at fixed speeds. You cannot make a normal gear system produce variable output. It is mechanically impossible, unless you're the person who built this. Inside the Antikythera Mechanism is a pin and slot gear system, where a pin on one gear sits inside a slot on another. As the gears turn, the slot creates a wobble that speeds up and slows down in exact sync with the moon's real motion. This mechanism was considered a major achievement of Renaissance engineering when Europeans rediscovered it in the 1500s. The Greeks had it in 100 BC, 1600 years earlier. The gear teeth, triangular, not rounded like modern gears, were cut by hand from a single bronze sheet, one tooth at a time. After 2,000 years underwater, they still mesh. Best evidence points to the island of Rhodes, and the name that keeps coming up is Hipparchus, the greatest astronomer of the ancient world. He worked on Rhodes around 150 to 120 BC. He created the first star catalogue. He calculated the length of the year to within 6 minutes. He discovered the precession of the Earth's axis. And he built the most precise mathematical model of the moon's orbit the ancient world had ever seen. The astronomical calculations inside the Antikythera Mechanism match his models almost exactly. The Roman orator Cicero actually wrote about visiting Rhodes and seeing a mechanical device that showed the movements of the sun, moon and planets simultaneously. He saw this, or something exactly like it, which means there were probably multiple copies made in a workshop on Rhodes, and every single one, except the one in that shipwreck, is gone. The Antikythera Mechanism is sitting right now in a glass case in Athens. It looks like a lump of corroded metal, but what you're actually looking at is proof. Proof that the ancient world was not primitive. Proof that 2,000 years ago, someone sat down in a bronze workshop on a Greek island, designed a complete mechanical computer in their head, and then built it by hand, one gear tooth at a time. We don't know their name. We have no portrait, no biography, no grave. All we have is the machine, and after 2,000 years at the bottom of the ocean, it is still right, still calculating, the greatest technological achievement of the ancient world, and almost nobody knows it exists.